a kid, I used to love being in the kitchen with my gran to make her famous chutneys and relishes. So I'm going to make one of her versions, but with a few little tweaks using grapes. Grapes in chutney is fantastic because it goes with roast pork, roast chicken. It's even beautiful on a sandwich. Now I'm going to be using onions, apple and grapes, but you could use whatever you like in your chutney. Use fruits and vegetables that are in season and also that are plentiful and cheap. That way you can make big batches of chutney and then leave them in the cupboard or the fridge until you're ready to use them because they last for months. Now you need 2 quite large onions to start with. This is going to cook down to very little, so you need to start with quite a lot. Just a classic brown onion, and I'm just going to slice it. Now, I call this my gran's chutney because I'm always using the classic spices that she would use in this. White pepper, cinnamon, clove and nutmeg. And I'm just going to put a little twist on it and add a little bit of chili there just to give it a little bit of spice. So in with our onions, and with your hands, just break them up a bit just to separate it. And I've got 2 Granny Smith apples that I've peeled, cored, diced. I like to put it in a bowl of plenty of water and just add a lemon. It just stops it going brown. And again, everything the same size so it cooks evenly. I always remember Gran making me peel the apples and core the apples. And at the time I loved doing it, but now I understand as an adult it's not the most exciting job. And for the grapes, my choice is Midnight Beauty, these black seedless grapes, gorgeous. And I'm not even going to cut them in half, straight off the vine and in there. And we need about 800 grams. So picking them off, you just want to put everything in the pot first and then we'll heat it up. All those spices, I've made the measurements really easy for you to remember. So it's just 1/4 teaspoon of the nutmeg, the white pepper, cinnamon and clove. And you've got to think of the combination here. We've got grapes and you've got all of these Christmas spices. For me, it reminds me of mulled wine. I love that combination. So in it goes. This is a really nice thing to do even for Christmas when you have a Christmas ham. Having this on the side is just delicious. Okay, 1 cup of white vinegar. And we need a little bit more moisture in here. So 1 cup of water and ginger straight into the pot there. And I like a good hit of it. I want to taste this ginger. Okay, let's scrape that off. And last but not least, we need some sweetness in there. And I use 300 grams of brown sugar because it's going to give it a really deep, rich flavour there. Okay, 1 quick stir just to combine everything. We're going to bring this to the boil now and then turn it down, lid goes on, and we're going to cook it for about 1 hour or until everything is really soft and sticky. My grape chutney is ready. You can see most of the liquid's gone. Some of the grapes have held their shape, which is fantastic. I want it to do that. And you can see how much it's reduced there and it smells so good. Now, I like to jar this when it's still hot. It'll ensure that the chutney lasts longer. Now, you need to sterilize your jars too. It's really important if you're going to make a preserve like this. So all you have to do is wash the jars really well with hot soapy water and then dry them out in the oven at about 100 degrees. Of course, take the little bit of plastic off when you put it in the oven because you don't want it to melt. And while our relish is still hot, we're just going to scoop it very carefully with a ladle into the jars. Now this makes about 1 litre of relish and you can see how it's still really steamy and that's what you need to make sure this seals up nicely. So let's fill it up most of the way and I'm just going to close it, lock it in, and while it's still hot, you want to flip it over and just wait for it to cool completely this way. Now, I said that this goes with roast pork, it goes well in sandwiches, but I also love it with duck and even on a cheese board. A little bit of this on the side goes so well with cheddar. The list is endless. Making your own relishes or chutneys like this is so much fun to do at home. Try this grape one, it is spectacular.